Australia, the island continent, holds a captivating history. It is a tale interwoven with ancient whispers of indigenous cultures and bold voyages of discovery. From the first European explorers to the vibrant multicultural nation it is today, Australia's story is one of resilience and transformation. The allure of the unknown beckoned European explorers southward. Among the first to set foot on Australian soil were the Dutch. Willem Janszoon in 1606 made landfall on the western coast of Cape York Peninsula. This marked the beginning of a series of Dutch expeditions that would gradually reveal the outline of this new continent. Dirk Hartog, in 1616, left a pewter plate inscribed with his name on the island that now bears his name. Abel Tasman in 1642 charted the island of Tasmania, originally naming it Van Diemen's Land. These early Dutch encounters provided glimpses into the diverse landscapes and unfamiliar flora and fauna of this strange new land. However, the Dutch, focused on their established trading routes in the East Indies, did not immediately establish a permanent presence. The year 1770 marked a pivotal moment in Australian history. Captain James Cook, commanding the HMS Endeavour, charted the eastern coastline of the continent. He claimed this vast territory for the British Crown, naming it New South Wales. Just 18 years later, in 1788, a fleet of 11 ships under the command of Captain Arthur Phillip arrived at Botany Bay. This flotilla, known as the First Fleet, carried over 1,000 convicts and free settlers, marking the beginning of British colonisation. Sydney Cove, chosen for its deep harbour and access to fresh water, became the site of the first permanent European settlement. The convicts, many transported for minor crimes, were thrust into a harsh and unfamiliar environment. They cleared land, cultivated crops, and built rudimentary shelters. The land was unforgiving, the climate unpredictable, and the indigenous population viewed their arrival with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. The early years of British settlement were marked by struggle, adaptation, and the gradual establishment of a new order. The early settlers faced a daunting array of challenges. The land itself presented formidable obstacles. The soil, often thin and unforgiving, required backbreaking labour to cultivate. The climate, too, was harsh and unpredictable, with scorching droughts alternating with torrential rains. Disease, exacerbated by poor sanitation and limited medical knowledge, took a heavy toll. The isolation of the colony, separated from the familiar comforts of Europe by vast oceans, compounded these difficulties. Communication with the mother country was slow and unreliable, leaving the colonists feeling isolated and vulnerable. Food shortages were a recurring problem. The unfamiliar flora and fauna offered little sustenance, and initial attempts at agriculture were often met with failure. Despite these hardships, the colonists persevered, gradually adapting to their new environment. Their determination to survive laid the foundation for a new nation. The arrival of the British had a profound and devastating impact on the Aboriginal population. For tens of thousands of years they had lived in harmony with the land, their culture inextricably linked to its rhythms and resources. The arrival of the Europeans disrupted their traditional way of life, leading to conflict, displacement, and the introduction of diseases to which they had no immunity. The British, with their notions of land ownership and their desire for expansion, encroached upon Aboriginal lands. This led to clashes as indigenous peoples fought to protect their territories and their way of life. The disparity in technology and weaponry made these conflicts tragically one-sided. The dispossession of Aboriginal peoples from their traditional lands was a tragic consequence of colonization. The introduction of European diseases, such as smallpox and measles, had a devastating impact, decimating indigenous populations. The legacy of this turbulent period continues to cast a long shadow over Australian society. Recognizing and respecting Aboriginal culture, history, and connection to the land is crucial to building a more just and equitable future for all Australians. As the colony at Sydney Cove grew, so too did the desire to explore and exploit the vast interior. Explorers, driven by a thirst for discovery and the lure of new opportunities, ventured into the unknown. Their expeditions revealed fertile valleys, vast plains, and mineral-rich mountains, fueling the expansion of European settlement. In 1813, Gregory Blaxland, William Lawson, and William Charles Wentworth led an expedition that successfully crossed the Blue Mountains, opening up the fertile plains west of Sydney for grazing and agriculture. This breakthrough paved the way for a wave of westward expansion, as settlers sought to carve out their own fortunes in the new lands. The discovery of gold in New South Wales and Victoria in the 1850s triggered a gold rush that transformed Australia. Thousands of people from all corners of the globe flocked to the goldfields, lured by the promise of riches. This influx of people, while bringing prosperity, also led to social upheaval, as established hierarchies were challenged. The gold rush not only boosted the Australian economy, but also led to a more diverse and cosmopolitan society. The 19th century witnessed significant economic development in Australia. The discovery of vast grazing lands led to the rise of the wool industry, which quickly became a cornerstone of the Australian economy. Sheep farming flourished, and Australia became the world's leading wool producer. The discovery of gold, as mentioned earlier, provided another major boost to the economy. The influx of people and capital during the gold rushes led to the development of infrastructure, including railways, ports, and communications networks. This, in turn, facilitated further economic growth and diversification. Agriculture also played a crucial role. The fertile lands of southeastern Australia proved ideal for growing wheat, and the country became a major grain exporter. The growth of these industries led to the emergence of a wealthy landowning class and a growing urban working class. As the colonies matured economically and socially, so too did their desire for self-determination. The 19th century was a period of significant political reform as the colonies gradually moved towards self-government. This movement was driven by a number of factors, including the growing sense of national identity, the desire for greater control over their own affairs, and the influence of liberal ideas from Europe and North America. The granting of responsible government to the colonies, beginning with New South Wales in 1855, marked a crucial step towards self-rule. This meant that the colonies could elect their own parliaments and governments, giving them greater control over their own destinies. The movement towards federation gained momentum in the latter half of the 19th century. There was a growing recognition that a united Australia would be stronger economically and politically. After much debate and negotiation, the 6 British colonies of New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, South Australia, Western Australia, and Tasmania agreed to federate. On the 1st of January 1901, the Commonwealth of Australia was proclaimed, marking the birth of a new nation. Even in the 21st century, echoes of Australia's past continue to resonate. News stories about land rights, reconciliation with Aboriginal peoples, and debates about immigration all have roots in the nation's history. Recent news items such as the apology to the stolen generations, the ongoing debate about constitutional recognition of Aboriginal Australians, and the discovery of significant Aboriginal archaeological sites highlight the enduring legacy of colonisation. These stories serve as reminders of the need for ongoing dialogue, understanding, and reconciliation. Similarly, contemporary discussions about Australia's national identity, its place in the Asia-Pacific region, and its relationship with its colonial past are all informed by the country's history. Australia's journey is far from over. As the nation grapples with the challenges of the 21st century, from climate change to globalization, understanding its past will be crucial for navigating the future. The stories of resilience, adaptation, and the enduring quest for identity that have shaped Australia's history will continue to inspire and guide generations to come.